Tuesday night, TBS has baseball. That's right, they're still running the bases at Richmond, and we'll be bringing it to you live. The Richmond Braves take on the Pawtucket Red Sox, 7:35 Eastern tonight on TBS.
The following is a presentation of TBS Sports.
It was back on July 22nd in St. Louis when the Atlanta Braves got their first look at Brad Woodall. His impressive season includes the top earned run average in the International League. The Richmond Braves' successful week has landed them in first place in the International League's Western Division, and tonight they meet the East-leading Pawtucket Red Sox. Baseball next on TBS. Hello again, everybody. Along with Don Sutton, Skip Caray, welcoming you to another night of International League Baseball, this time from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We're at McCoy Stadium, where the red-hot Richmond Braves take on the Pawtucket Red Sox. Richmond has had a great week. As you can see, they're doing very well in the standings and now have taken the lead. It's a three-team race, however, and only two teams in the division will make it into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Pawtucket is laughing and scratching. They've got a 9.5-game lead, and they're a cinch to win their division. Meanwhile, two pretty good pitchers we get to see again, Mr. Sutton.
Frank Rodriguez will be on the mound for the Paw Sox, of interest to Braves fans, maybe. The Red Sox got him as compensation when the Braves signed Nick Osaski. Brad Woodall, you've already had a look at. The young left-hander has a chance to pitch in the big leagues very soon. He knows how to pitch. One of the traditions here at McCoy Stadium, since the stands are so high above the dugouts, players give autographs to the youngsters who use milk cartons and milk bottles and coffee cans and anything else they can to drop the balls down for the players to sign. Players I talked to said they like it. Good night for baseball. We'll be back to take a look at the Paw Sox and the Richmond Braves right after this. Welcome back to McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. A beautiful night for baseball here. Temperature in the middle 60s, not a cloud in the sky. It's almost like an autumn day here. Time for us to take a look at our Sears Die-Hard starting lineup. For the visiting Richmond Braves, Jarvis Brown to lead it off. He's in right field. Brian Kowitz will be in left and will bat second. It's Mike Kelley hitting third. Louis Lopez, the designated hitter. They're playing with American League rules here tonight. Will bat in the cleanup spot. He'll be followed by Jose Oliva, the third baseman. Tyler Houston gets to start at first tonight and will bat sixth. Eddie Perez will catch and bat seventh. Eddie Giovanola at shortstop hitting eighth, and Jose Almeida will be at second. He'll complete the batting order. The Paw Sox have taken the field. Here's how they will line up defensively. Jose Munoz in left, Jeff McNeely in center, Dave Thoutsis is in right field. Then we start the Rodriguez. Tony is at third, Carlos at short, and Steve at second. Mike Twardowski, the first baseman. Scott Hatterberg will catch, and a hard-throwing right-hander, Frank Rodriguez, will be on the mound. You see his numbers. According to manager Grady Little, no pitcher in the league has improved or grown as much as Frank Rodriguez has since the beginning of the season. He leads the International League in strikeouts. He was a compensation pick for the Boston Red Sox when the Braves signed Nick Osaski. According to Richmond Braves players, he throws very hard. Here's what he's done his last three starts, 2-1. The earned run average, exceptional. Don't expect anything tricky out of Rodriguez. He throws hard. He has a hard breaking ball. He does have a changeup, but what he likes to do is just get the ball and come right at you. In the International League, as in most of the minor leagues, three umpires are used. Here's how they will line up for tonight. Calling the balls and strikes, Brian Gibbons. Jim Paler down at first base, and Brian O'Nora will complete the umpires lineup over at third. This is definitely a hitter's ballpark. It's 325 down the line, 380 to straightaway center field. When we got out here today, the wind was blowing out in left, but right now, as you can see in center there, the flag's pretty calm. Getting antsy and getting set to go, chomping at the bit, here's Skip Caray.
Okay, Don, thank you very much. Buddy Bailey, you see there, the manager of the Pawtucket team. Out of the Braves organization, played as a catcher in the organization and managed in the Braves organization as well. Jarvis Brown will lead it off, hitting at .292 with 3 homers and 25 runs driven in. Another big crowd here. They expect capacity tonight, which is just over 7,000 in Pawtucket. And game time temperature 62 degrees, which is a very pleasant night at the old ballpark. Rodriguez, 6 feet tall, 175 pounds, and he's into the wind, and the game is underway, and the fastball is high. 1 ball, no strikes down. Told you the umpires. Gibbons from South Bend, Indiana, the plate umpire. Jim Taylor from Harkers Island, North Carolina at first base. The pitch. That's in there. It's 1-1. Brian O'Nora from Youngstown, Ohio at third. A ball and a strike to count. This Rodriguez, originally signed as a shortstop. But he looks like he's got a chance to be a pretty good pitcher.
A couple of years in the minor leagues, hit just under 300, so they said he could have made it either way.
To the screen, he got around a little late. It's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I remember when he was scouted and signed by the Red Sox, he was one of the most talked about youngsters in America coming out of high school, and I think one of the reasons a lot of clubs kind of laid off of him and he wasn't in the first round was that they weren't sure whether they wanted him as a regular player or a pitcher, and I don't think he was sure what he wanted to do.
Again, it's fouled back. It's still 2-2. Pawtucket a 9.5 game lead in their division. Richmond in a battle. Charlotte and Columbus idle tonight, but they play each other starting tomorrow, we understand.
This may be one of the smartest AAA setups around. Boston, not too far up the freeway. You need a guy, you can have him. If you get somebody hurt in batting practice, you can have somebody from here there by the first inning.
The 2-2. Got it. Breaking ball. Brown is out to start the game. One away, the 153rd strikeout for Rodriguez, who leads the league in that department.
Not much of a change in velocity. His fastball in the low to middle 90s. Here's his slider. Comes in the high to middle 80s. A late breaking pitch. Completely fooled Jarvis Brown.
Brian Kowitz is the batter, hitting at 286. 7 homers, 51 RBIs. The Richmond Braves got in here late today. They had about an hour and a half delay in Philadelphia coming in from Columbus, I think. Fastball outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Oh, from Richmond. And so they didn't take any
Pawtucket came in from Columbus.
Yeah, that's right. Wonder if they got what we had today when the plane's delayed and the pilot comes on and say, "We appreciate your patience." They don't know we're patient. We don't have any choice. 2 balls, no strikes. Kowitz had a good cut, but he didn't get it. It's 2-1.
That was our first look at his off-speed pitch. Straight changeup. Boy, does he have good arm speed on it and good action. In case you're wondering who has the record, that's Dick Pohl.
As Rodriguez starts his wind, he stumbles a little bit, so we'll have it to do all over again. 2-1 the count. Pawtucket about 10 miles from Providence, if that. Right in there, 2-2. These two teams, Pawtucket and Richmond, 5-5 against one another for the year. Well hit, but right at the first baseman. Godarski makes the play, 2 down. Right on the old Schnozola, but right at him.
Center fielder, Kelley.
Hanging breaking ball. First baseman. Always looking in the infield. You should always be looking for and wanting the ball to be hit at you, and he was, and he got it.
Mike Kelley is the batter. Kelley at 271. He got off to a dreadful start when he was sent down from Atlanta early on, and had been a hot hitter. Then was called up again and has done all right since coming back. Well, I guess they've decided what kind of table they're going to sit at, so we're going to have some meetings tomorrow on baseball strike.
Was that a deliberate choice of words when you said meaning and not meaningful negotiations?
You know, I just find it so hard to understand why it takes so long to sit down and talk. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Both sides can go on network TV shows, but they can't sit down and talk to each other and try to settle the strike. Very hard to understand. 2-1 pitch. Drill deep left field. It is. Is it high enough? Yes, it's out of here. Kelley, a line drive home run. The 15th home run given up by Rodriguez this year. You see some either Richmond or Atlanta fans are here, and it's 1-0. Number 13 for Kelley, his 42nd RBI. He hit the daylights out of it. The only question was it high enough?
I don't know if we're going to get another look at it. It looks like a hanging breaking ball. That's exactly what it is, right down the middle there. And Skip, one of the reasons they said he had turned his year around is that he had more confidence in his fastball, was using it more and making fewer mistakes with his breaking ball.
Luis Lopez is the batter, and it's a strike, 0-1. Lopez having a terrific year. Kelley continues his good work. I was thinking today, I'm no expert. I don't know what's going on the strike, but a guy like Terry Clark of the Richmond Braves. Got a wife and a child. The pitch didn't get it. Been in pro ball since 1979. He's pitched something like 540 minor league games, 20 major league games.
I think he has more wins than any active minor leaguer.
Yeah, gets $18 a day meal money. Yeah, there's a look at it. Has had a good year and now has been pushed aside a little bit as far as being the closer because of the good youngster, Brad Woodall. Wonder what he thinks about the strike. We'll be back to talk about it later. Rodriguez strikes out too, but the Kelley homer gives Atlanta the lead, and we'll be back.
Bottom of the first, 1-0. Braves on top. Here's the batting order for the Paw Sox. Jeff McNeely will lead it off. Steve Rodriguez will bat second. It's Munoz in the third spot. The DH Eric Wedge will bat fourth. Twardowski will hit fifth. Rodriguez will hit sixth. Fouts Paul
He's hitting second.
He's also hitting eighth, too. And Scott Hatterberg will complete the batting order. Defensively, Coates in left, Kelley in center, Brown in right, Oliva, Giovanola, Olmeda, and Houston. A start at first base for Tyler Houston. Eddie Perez will catch, and left-hander Brian Woodall. This will be his 25th start of the year. He has 4 complete games, 3 shutouts, a 2.01 ERA. The league only hitting .220 against Brian Woodall. He's pitched well against this ball club, too.
And Jeff McNeely will lead it off. You see the good numbers on Brad Woodall. McNeely's from our part of the world, Monroe, North Carolina, and he doesn't get the first pitch, 0-1. Woodall out of the University of North Carolina. You see the numbers on Jeff McNeely for the year. Good live fastball. He missed a little bit inside.
I like what I saw of Woodall when he was called up briefly for the Braves in St. Louis. He knows how to pitch. Gutsy enough to pitch inside.
How far back and out of play. I'll tell you what I like the most about him. I think, as I recall, he gave up back-to-back homers, or at least 2 home runs in an inning, and got cuffed around a little bit early. And instead of blowing up and freaking out, he settled down and pitched better as the game went along. So he's got a little savoir-faire, as they say. Check swing grounder foul. Buddy Bailey makes the play. The Paw Sox manager. Well, it's good to work with you. Last time we worked was about 4th of July.
You are Skip Caray, right?
Yes, I am. And I'm not very happy about it either. Rounded back. Still 1-2. One 0 Richmond is our score. Breaking ball bounces up there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Probably, if you ask Bill Fisher, the pitching coach here, he would tell you Woodall is a fastball, change of speeds, breaking ball pitcher, his curveball being his 3rd pitch, much like Tom Glavine. There's Grady Little on the left, Bill Fisher on the right.
Just missed low, 3-2.
He is one heck of a good pitching coach, and when you talk to the pitchers here, they really enjoy working with him. One of the things they like best about him is his sense of humor, but the second thing is he has a different way of working with every guy.
Got him with an off-speed pitch. 1 out. That is the 130th strikeout of the year for Woodall, and a good start to the bottom of the first. Steve Rodriguez, the batter.
Look at the arm action here. It's the same as his fastball. Starts it out just above the knees, kills the speed on it, gets movement, location, and change of speed. You get 3 things like that, you're a pretty good chance you're going to get a strike on a changeup.
Steve Rodriguez is out of Las Vegas.
A high school teammate of Tyler Houston,
who is at first base for the Braves and who has really struggled in the Atlanta organization. Downstairs, 1 ball last night. Last year looked like it might have been a breakthrough year for him. Started like a house of fire, but then tailed off and has struggled at AAA this year. Fly ball foul to right.
Yeah, I think Eddie Perez has moved ahead of him on the depth chart as far as catching his turn. Maybe why you see him at first base, where incidentally he is no Bill Scourin over there either.
And that position's a little crowded up top. With,
it is.
Griffin Prescott. A ball and 2 strikes. The count. You're just briefly getting back to the Terry Clark thing, but a guy like that is invested all those years flying all over the country. Not first class and not staying in the great hotels we're lucky enough to stay at. What must he think when guys making $3 or $4 million on straight? High pop, short right field. That'll be easy. Brown is there. He's got it. 2 down.
Well, I think what he thinks is not directed so much against players being on strike. Personally, it's the whole situation, Skip. And I think Terry Clark feels like the year that he had, when the rosters were expanded in September, he might have had a shot at pitching for the Braves. He might have had a shot at coming up because his reputation is he throws in the 90s, he knows how to pitch, and he'll throw you strikes. That's something you like to have down the stretch, but he may have reconciled himself to the fact that he's going to miss his shot at the big leagues this year.
Jose Munoz is the batter.
But what he may have done with his performance this year with a shortage of pitching, assuming we have baseball in '95, he may have earned himself a shot at maybe somebody else's roster because there is no overabundance of pitching.
And they're talking about further expansion as well.
He can pitch.
Check swing, foul back. Munoz hitting .265 with 7 homers. Just missed inside. 3 balls and a strike.
Watching Woodall pitch, you can tell if he brings one up above the belt, it's to straighten up a hitter or it's a mistake. He lives in the lower half of the strike zone.
Chop to third. Oliva will unload in a hurry, as he always does. And a very easy inning at the end of 1. Richmond 1. Pawtucket, nothing. Red Sox star Mo Vaughn is here, checking things out. And Jose Oliva leads off the 2nd inning. Oliva, .263, 22 homers, 61 RBI.
Oliva banged his knee up a little bit. He wasn't in yesterday's ball game, but said he wasn't going to miss a chance to be out there tonight.
And he's in the hole, 0-1. Don Sutton, Skip Caray with you from McCoy Stadium, the real McCoy, in Pawtucket. If the fire breaks out, we're in good shape. There's a fire station right across the street.
Oliva's coming off of a heck of a week, Skip. Remember, he did such a good job down there, but up here, International League Player of the Week, over 400, 4 homers.
You have to, some people have already, he had the one good week in Atlanta, and people say, well, he's the 3rd baseman next year. I'm a little worried about the .263 average and the strikeouts. I think he's a great prospect. But John Sherholz has so many questions to answer. What do you do with Terry Pendleton last year of his contract? What do you do with Jeff Blauser last year of his contract? Where are you going to play Chipper Jones?
Is Chipper Jones well?
Well, I think he will be by next year. But you're right, that's not written in stone anymore. That's a foul tip. It's 2-2.
Can Ryan Klesko play left field well enough to stay in the lineup? What do you do with Tony Tarasco? What about Mike Kelley? Is John Smoltz going to the bullpen? Is his elbow going to be okay? Is Mark Wohlers or somebody going to step forward in the bullpen? A lot of questions, but every year you have those problems. And all we do is bring up the questions, and we'll let John provide the answers. 3-2, the count to Oliva. High fly ball, pretty well hit, but not enough. Who wants it? The left fielder will take it. Munoz puts it away, one down. Oliva just missed it. One out, and Tyler Houston, the batter.
See, that's Rodriguez got away with another breaking ball there, and I think what you'd like to see out of a youngster like him who has such a good fastball is for him to believe in it a little bit more. When he did that in the middle of the year, he turned his season around, but we saw him get burned on one to Kelley, and we saw him go to it 3-2. That's pretty much the American League style of pitching. A guy like him throws so hard, though, he can believe in his fastball more.
Tyler Houston hits it hard, but to the second baseman, that's Rodriguez, and he throws to first. You're right.
I'm sorry, who was that second baseman?
Rodriguez.
Thanks.
I hope there's a rundown play in one of our careers. Steve Rodriguez throws him out, and Perez is the batter. Poor Rodriguez. Oh, what's the plural of Rodriguez?
Rodriguez.
Poor Rodriguez.
That's just like the plural of Martinez is Martina.
No. You're wrong about that one, big boy. 1 ball, no strikes. I'll prove it to you right after the game. The pitch is outside.
They had a fifth here. Rodriguez, that is.
Yeah, but
he was the catcher.
Yeah, he got option or release. Time is called now. Scott Hatteberg, the catcher, goes to the mound for a word with his pitcher. And that might be just what Don was talking about. Let's go with the fastball a little bit. The 2-0 pitch. It's outside, and it's 3-0.
He's gotten a lot bigger and a lot stronger the last year or so, they were telling me. The numbers we had on him, 6 feet tall, 170. A lot bigger than that now.
Perez draws a 2-out walk. And Edge Giovanola will be the batter. Mike Mordecai gets the night off for the Richmond team.
I think a lot of times, Skip, you draft a pitcher and you think down the road what you can do with him or what you hope that he becomes. With a guy like this who already has good built-in mechanics, the job becomes much simpler. It's just refining and fine-tuning. If you have to do a wholesale change on a guy, then you're kind of shooting crap with how he's going to turn out. This guy has good mechanics.
Giovanola scorches it into center field, but McNeely is there. He's got it just shy of the track. And the inning is over. No hits, no runs, no errors. A runner is left, and at the end of an inning and a half, your score. Richmond 1, the Paw Sox, nothing.
Bottom of the second, 1-0 Richmond on top. Time for a look at our Micaton leaderboard. And tonight our category win leaders. Tavares on top, but who is second? Brad Woodall. Lancaster from Syracuse also with 14 wins. 15 and 14 wins. And nowadays a lot of wins at any minor league level. And that's a look at our Micaton leaderboard.
Yeah, thank you, Don, for bringing that to our attention. And Eric Wedge leads off the second inning. He got the game-winning hit for the Paw Sox last night. He's hitting .288, 16 homers, 48 RBI. He's the designated hitter in tonight's fray. And he looks at a strike on the corner. It's 0-1.
Didn't make it out of spring training with the Colorado Rockies. Ended up being signed as a released free agent here.
Boy, there's a lot of that kind of action that when you're fortunate enough to be doing the major league game, you really don't notice what goes on. But tremendous amount of activity as guys pop from one organization to another. 2 balls and a strike. Did you see the story Sunday in the Atlanta paper about the farm system and the Braves of the future?
Yes.
So interesting.
Projections of what the starting lineup might be 6 years from now.
I was a little concerned that they had removed Steve Avery from the rotation by 1998 or whenever that was.
Probably because they thought they couldn't afford him by then.
Surely they'll be back playing then. Fly ball foul to right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wedge, Twardowski, and Rodriguez will bat here. In the second, a little wedge shot fouled on the third base line, and it's still 2-2.
We were talking before about how convenient it is to have Pawtucket this close to the Big Sox up in Boston. Wedge is one of a bunch of folks here from Pawtucket who made the trip up north. 16 different players have gone up there. Buddy Bailey has to have more name tags here.
3 balls, 2 strikes. That's the other thing fans who normally watch Major League games. He got him. Second strikeout for Brad Woodall. Down here, the #1 goal is development and helping the big club. Winning is secondary to that, and that's hard for some people to get used to. I know when Phil Niekro managed that 1 year at Richmond, he couldn't cope.
No, I was just going to say it's driven a lot of guys out of managing in the minor league.
Although after what he's gone through this year, I guess next season probably a little better adjusted now. Twardowski, the batter, hitting .288, 13 homers, 49 runs driven in. One ball, no strikes. 1 out, nobody aboard. Twardowski out of Niagara Falls, New York. By the way, former Braves farmhand Andy Tomberlin is with this team. Played a little with the Pirates last year, has played a little with the Red Sox this year. He's got a little groin pull. Thus is not in there tonight, but he's having a great year hitting .343. He too is from Monroe, North Carolina. A ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2 the count. The outfield shades him around toward left field. Perez was ready to gun it to third, but he did not get the call from the home plate umpire, Brian Gibbons.
We'll take a look right here. Either he's not behind the plate, that's a strike. Looked like it crossed the plate above the knees. But Gibbons sets up on the inside shoulder of the catcher. A little hard to see the outside corner.
Then he lost him with a 3-2 pitch. That was down. And that's the first Pawtucket base runner of the night. And Carlos Rodriguez is the batter. He's out of Mexico City. Last year played at Columbus and hit .253. You see his numbers for this season with the Paw Sox. For Woodall, just his 42nd walk in 172 innings. 0-1 the count. One 0 Richmond, our score on a first inning Mike Kelley 2-out homer.
Rodriguez originally spent some time in the Yankee organization, Skip. He didn't hit many homers, and he didn't steal many bases, so not too much of a chance for him to crack that lineup up there.
Boy, the Yankees and the Montreal Expos have to really be frustrated by that.
Oh. For the Yankees, it's been a while. For Montreal, the most efficient organization in baseball this year.
Well, the Yankees are going to be there in great shape no matter what happens. But Montreal, this was a chance. They were just winning their fans over to maybe get that franchise over the hump. The pitch out in front of an off-speed pitch. It's 1-2. Runner at first, one down. We are in the bottom of the second. Took a shot at right field, looped it foul. It stays 1-2.
Woodall already does a good job of holding the runner on. He has a couple of moves that he can use to first base, and he has the slide step. And for him, that slide step doesn't change his mechanics. It doesn't change his delivery. Doesn't lose any control, unlike that happens to a lot of pitchers.
Hit that ball hard. It almost beamed his manager. By the way, for you fans down in Richmond, as I knock the coke over, what is it with us in this minor league game?
What is this us stuff?
Well, you do it all the time.
Never. You and Joe have erased my name from the record book as far as that's concerned.
After this series in Pawtucket, he said, ignoring his partner. The Richmond team comes home on the 27th, 28th, and 29th against Columbus. Then they go to Charlotte for 3, and then they end the regular season September 2nd and 3rd against Charlotte in Richmond. And if you have major league tickets, you can use them to get into the Richmond ballpark.
Into right center field, pretty well hit. Jarvis Brown is going to get there. Good play. He can cover some ground. So 2 are out.
Look how far he had to go to make this catch. Good pitch, inside-out swing. That looks like it's going to find green grass in right center field. But Jarvis Brown, long run, kept his eye on it, made the catch, made it look easy. Getting a little flack from the Braves bullpen, which is down the right field line, getting on Jarvis a little bit.
Paul Fitzis is the batter. Runner goes, and there's a drive. Deep right field. Back goes Brown. That ball is way out of here. For Tutsis, his 9th homer. He's now got 39 RBIs. And Pawtucket has a 2-1 lead. 13th home run ball thrown by Brad Woodall this year. I guess you could say Tutsis goodbye if you wanted to.
Looking for something to hit on the first pitch. They want it outside, but it's a fastball low middle in. He missed a sign. That was a pitch out. You see where Perez was? Perez had jumped out from behind the plate. They had a pitch out call, and Woodall missed it. Cost him 2 runs.
Either that or the runner was going. He might have seen the runner and started to bail. In any event, it was really socked. Tony Rodriguez is the batter. Tutsis hitting just 145 this year against left-hand pitching. But he hit the daylights out of that ball. And it's 2-1. All the runs have been driven home by Circuit Fox. Rodriguez fouls it back. 0-2 the count. So the 2-2 pitch to Twardowski that Woodall didn't get. I'm not blaming the umpire, but it winds up hurting him. That pitch will not count.
It's a bad time to allow time. He had already started his motion.
I wish all umpires would be. I know what they're worried about. If a guy gets something in his eye and he's blinded up there, you could risk a serious injury, but that's almost never the case. It's normally just not comfortable. The 0-2 pitch. just missed inside. A ball and 2 strikes. There's a chant you don't hear much anymore. We want to hit the pitch. Swung, a little looper to second, and the inning is over as Olmeda handles it easily. But a 2-out homer by Paul Tutis, the only hit of the inning. It's 2-1 Pawtucket after 2. We go to the 3rd inning here. There's the story of the game. Guy we want to thank for all his help is the fine voice of the Richmond Braves on radio, Steve Stewart, who broadcasts the games on 910 WRVA in Richmond. On the home games, Bill Roth assists him, and those two have been very helpful to us, and they know a lot more about this club than we do, and they've shared that information, which is extremely kind of them, and we want to thank them. Jose Olmeda will lead off the 3rd inning. Disappointing year for this switch-hitting infielder. He takes it outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Frank Rodriguez now has himself a lead. Nobody on, nobody out. Fly ball in the center field. That'll be easy for McNeely. 1 out. And the top of the order will hit. Jarvis Brown stands in. A strikeout victim his first time. Our future plans as far as minor league baseball is concerned, assuming a strike continues, our plans sort of up in the air. We'll let you know as soon as we know something, or the station will. Well, we sure appreciate it. It's been fun doing these games. Oh, and 1 the count. And we appreciate you watching. 0-2 is the count. Look now. Straighten him up for that fastball. 1-2. Pretty good pitch. A ball and 2 strikes.
I think sometimes when you see a pitch like that, you're right, it's a good pitch. You wonder if it was the pitcher or the catcher who made that good decision.
Ready to go, laid off. They asked for help. No swing. 2-2.
Followed it up with another good pitch, too. Last thing you want to do is throw something off speed right down the middle after you've straightened the guy up and backed him away from the plate. He came back with a changeup in a good spot. Almost got the strikeout.
Ground ball toward third. Weakly hit. Rodriguez is up. Low throw. Good play at first base by Twardowski. 1 down. Or rather, 2 down.
Broken bat, slow roller toward third. Has to throw off balance. The throw is in the dirt, but Twardowski stayed right with it. Gave it a little stretch, shortened the throw. Got a fast man.
Sort of your typical slow roller toward third, huh?
It's a classic example of it right there, Skip.
Brian Kolitz, the batter. And Rodriguez delivers. Home run swing. He came up empty. Kolitz lined hard to the first baseman his first time. And that ball sharply hit. He'll get this one through. Runner at first, 2 out, and Mike Kelley, the batter. He hit a hanger for a homer his first time.
That's a second hit. 2 or 3 balls have been hit hard. The homer, that base hit, and one other one, and all 3 have come on the breaking ball. Remember, he got away with a hanger to Oliva to lead off the second inning.
That's right, Don, and here's Kelley. Close. Kolitz 18 out of 26 in the stolen base department. He's got a chance to make the major league team. Brian Kolitz, pretty good hitter. Ball seems to jump off his bat. And strike to Kelley. The home run he hit in the first, his 13th, driving in his 42nd run. Of course, he spent several weeks in Atlanta. 2 balls, no strikes. Bruce Kim coaches a third. Tack Wilson at first for Richmond. And again, they chase Coates back.
Rodriguez has a good move. He has one of those moves where he starts his throw toward first before he brings the glove all the way down. Borderline balk, but it's a good, quick throw to first.
Home run cut, but he foul tipped it into the glove of the catcher. 1-2 the count. Upstairs, 2-2. Wonder how Alley's donut shop is. If it's really as good as it says on that sign.
I don't know. You know, in talking to a number of the people who were at the park today, it was not one of the places mentioned most often.
No?
Lily's Social Club.
Yeah, I had my eye on that all evening. Runner goes with pitches high, the throw. Short hops into center. And Coates will stay where he is. Good hustling play by the shortstop, Rodriguez, after the second baseman. Rodriguez couldn't come up with the throw. Rodriguez was waiting at third if Coates had tried to go to third.
Rodriguez was backing up in case there was a throw over there, too. Hanging breaking ball. Pretty good pitch to throw on, but you can see the throw down low. Short hops the second baseman. Coates got a good jump. Even after all the good moves that Rodriguez has given him at first, he picked the right pitch to go on. In there by plenty, very wisely chose not to test the arm of the shortstop.
19 stolen bases for Coates, and Rodriguez gets ready to go to work. Fouls it off.
It's a little bit of a defensive swing there by Mike Kelley, but it's a swing that he wouldn't have taken early in the year, Skip. He was opening up, pulling off the plate. He didn't have good coverage on the outer half, but he fouled away then what would have been a strikeout pitch in April.
And that is the thing he must do, is cut down on his strikeouts, and he has this year, as has Oliva, but they still have more work to do in that department. The time is called as Kelley steps out. As Rodriguez gets ready to pitch, Rodriguez, the shortstop, flashes the sign to Rodriguez, the second baseman. There's a line drive, but foul. Let's get right far written all over. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That's another pitch he would have pulled off earlier in the year. You can see what he has done. One adjustment he's made. You can see the knob of the bat and a little bit of the bat sticking below the left hand there. With 2 strikes, chokes up, gives himself just a little bit more plate coverage.
Just missed outside. Frank Rodriguez wanted that one, but no go. Second walk. Henry Lopez will have a chance to do some damage for the Richmond Braves. Lopez out on strike swinging his first time. Lopez, the leading hitter on the team, leading RBI man with 76, 17 homers.
You don't have to look too far down the list or all the offensive categories to find his name in the International League.
Finding him a position appears to be the big problem. You see the good year that he's had, the outstanding year that he's had. Off-speed pitch didn't do much. 1 ball, no strikes.
Seems like we categorize guys as to whether they would be an American League type player, National League type player. I think he's a guy that could really help somebody in the American League because you could DH him, you could catch him some, you could play him at first base. Defensively, he wouldn't embarrass you at either place, but I think his real strength comes from the offensive side of the game.
And boy, that ability to not embarrass yourself as a catcher might really prove helpful to this young man. Not many teams carry a third catcher anymore, but if he's going to DH part of the time and not embarrass you behind the plate. You might get a look. Foul back and out of play, 2-1.
This guy did about everything you could do in the Dodger organization at the AAA level, AA level. Actually, at Albuquerque, for 2 years combined, he hit close to 400. Then he was off to Cleveland. One little shot at the big leagues at 220 for the Cleveland Indians. But he's never really had a chance to prove whether or not he can hit at the big league level for any length of time.
Happens to so many guys.
Off the plate, that's going to be a tough play for Rodriguez. Can he throw him out? Bang, bang play. Got him, and the inning is over. So the Braves threatened, but they failed to score. 1 hit, no runs. No errors. 2 runners are left. We go to the bottom half of the third inning. 2-1 Pawtucket.
From the world's greatest movie library, a brutal gangland war, and one man out to stop it. Charles Bronson.
You could die easy.
The Stone Killer. 10:35 Eastern tonight on TBS. Parental discretion advised.
Traditionally, it's the coach who knows football best. That's why every Sunday, one of America's top coaches looks back at the week's best games. Highlights in the first look at the USA Today CNN Coaches Poll. College Coaches Corner premieres Sunday on CNN.
2-1 to score. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Richmond Braves, the International League, the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues Incorporated, and it is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audio. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, description, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of all the above organizations is prohibited. And while I have your undivided attention, don't forget, at the conclusion of our game, the Holiday Inn player of the game will be selected and announced right here.
By Pete Van Weiren, and Joe Simpson will be hacking away on radio. Scott Hatterberg is the batter. He's out of Salem, Oregon. Hitting .242 on the year. There's a strike. By the way, when you get to radio, it's something I've always wondered what it would be like broadcasting a game in jail. Hot shot, tough play for the shortstop. Giovanola comes up nicely and throws him out. One away. The ball was hit hard. 1 down, and McNeely, the batter, he struck out his first time. We're sort of out on the catwalk with a bunch of bars up. I don't mean cocktail lounges. I mean iron bars. It looks like you can see over it, but you can't. Unless you stand up. Sweet and Joe. Chop to third, an easy play. Lope ball. He unloads quickly. Like he doesn't want to think too long about what he's doing. Let's just get it over there.
I bet you somewhere along the line he held on to one a little bit too long and threw it away, but he has a good arm. Talking to some of the minor league instructors, they keep encouraging him to throw that arm, to show off that. Well, not so much show it off, but to use it. But I guess as long as he unloads in a hurry like that, a la Ozzie Smith, and gets the out, no reason to change.
Steve Rodriguez flied to right his first time. Brad Woodall cuts it loose, low and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Two balls, no strikes. I think in Major League Baseball they should go back to putting advertisements up on the wall. Into short center field, that might dunk in there, and it does. Coates up on 1 hop, and Steve Rodriguez a bloop single. First hit by any of the Rodriguezes in this game.
They're slowly working their way toward that. You know, some of the ballparks have the revolving signs back behind home plate. I'm a little disappointed in this one, though. I have gone from foul line to foul line, and there is not a single mortuary advertisement out there.
That's unusual.
There's usually one.
You must not have an official Paw Sox mortuary. Although that catwalk out there is pretty close. Jose Munoz, the batter, and he lines it down the right field line. That's trouble. It's into the corner. Let's see if Rodriguez can score. Look at him run. He's going to score easily. Other runner goes to third. The throw is way late. 2 out trouble again for Woodall. It's 3-1. An RBI double for Jose Munoz. He plates his 39th run of the year.
Not every out is on a good pitch, and not every hit's on a bad one off the end of the bat. But watch Rodriguez run. Good speed. Picks up his manager right there, no hesitation. The throw came in there, but he made it standing up.
And Eric Wedge can drive in a run. He takes it low, 1 ball, no strikes.
Kind of hard to compete with Fred Flintstone.
I don't know what that was all about, but we got a little yabba-dabba-doo in the middle of that run-scoring double. 2-0 to count.
You probably don't remember that old famous country song that had that in it, do you?
No, I don't.
Yabba dabba doo, the king is gone and so are you.
No, I don't.
That'll be easy, or should be, in short right field. Who wants it? A little confusion, and finally, Olmeda makes the catch. He and Brown got their wires crossed, almost a little Alphonse Gastonac, but the inning is over. A run scores on 2 hits, and 1 is left. And we'll be back with more country western favorites right after this.
Magic Moments, TBS Date Night Fridays, beginning this Friday at 8:05 Eastern on TBS.
Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Joe Montana leads the Chiefs into Rich Stadium to face the 4-time AFC champion Buffalo Bills on the NFL on TNT. Gary Bender, Pat Hayden will have it for you. I don't know if Dion's showing up at that one or not. We go to the 4th inning, and here with the play-by-play story, once again, Don Sutton.
Paw Sox on top 3-1. Oliva, Houston, and Perez first 3 due up. 1-0 the count. Jose Oliva, fly ball to left field. Rodriguez got away with a hanging breaking ball to the right end of it from third baseman. 2-0. I don't think there's going to be any free agents scooting in and out of that game on Friday night. 3 balls and no strikes. 1 run on 2 hits for the visiting Richmond Braves. 3 runs on 3 hits for the Paw Sox.
That's what one comedian said. I forget who it was. Or maybe it was a sports announcer. I just remember the line.
Got the green light, 3-0, fouls it away.
Said that Dion was, if he signed with Miami, he was going to get a Harley because the security guards were much bigger in Miami.
There's ball 4. Good start for the Braves here. That's the 3rd base on ball issued by Frank Rodriguez. Francisco Rodriguez. Signed June 2nd, 1991. First pick, 2nd round in the 90 draft choice from the Braves because the Braves had signed Nick Asaski. He was the 41st player picked that year. Go to first. But Oliva, pretty good chance he's not going anywhere. He's tried 3. He's only stolen 1. The count to Tyler Houston. He and Steve Rodriguez, teammates at Valley High School in Las Vegas. He was the #1 pick of the Braves, the #2 pick in the country. Rodriguez, on the other hand, went on to Pepperdine, where he was a part of the team that won the national championship. A ball and a strike to Tyler Houston.
Is that the school the Maddox brothers attended?
I'm not sure. Well, within 10 seconds, Hal Galima will let us know. 9, 8.
Yes, it
That's
is.
right, Skip Caray.
Thanks, Don Sutton. Now back with the play-by-play.
The ball and the strike. Upstairs, 2-1. Rodriguez looks like one of those pitchers, Skip, that might have a little bit better control from the windup. Seems like his mechanics get just a little bit off from the stretch. Upstairs more with his pitches. To right field, fair foul. That's going to be out of here, but foul. Up over the top of the Braves bullpen. Braves bullpen having a little fun with first base umpire Jim Paler. The manager got kicked out the other day in minor league ball for showing that picture we just did.
Yeah, in Bellingham, Washington, but he's back. A little moonshot. Yeah.
Good, too.
He may never make it to the major leagues, but he's going to make a lot of counting.
That'll do it for Tyler Houston. Strikeout number 3 for Frank Rodriguez. Gives him 155 for the year. Tops in the International League.
The catcher, Eddie Perez.
That'll bring up Eddie Perez. Perez, the first time up, drew a walk. Didn't mean to, and it's 0-1. Perez is 26 years old, out of Venezuela, a free agent signed by the Braves back in '86, and he's one of those guys that kind of labored in the organization here for a while. He's completed enough time that he could have moved on as a 6-year free agent, but he stayed here, and it's really the first time that he has been taken very seriously as a catcher, and we've watched him a few times. He can throw. Doesn't get the breaking ball. He's in a hole 0-2.
He's the guy who got off to such a great start last year at Greenville and then suffered a dislocated tailbone that ended his season. Really set him back, but he's made the jump to AAA, and he's doing all right.
Did that sliding at home plate. To left field, fair or foul. That is going to be a fair ball right on the line. Olivo will make it to third. It's a double for Perez. The tying run's now in scoring position for the Braves.
See what he hit. Another curveball, and it was up again. About belt high over the inside corner. And look where this baby lands. Right, well, maybe 2 inches fair.
Good job of rotating by the umpires. When there are only 3, you have a whole lot more real estate to cover. And Brian Gibbon had shifted over there, made the call, and it was the right one. Here's Ed Giovanola. Flied to center his first time up. Down low. That may have crossed up Scott Hatteberg. Right field. He's going to have to play it on a hop. Let's see if Perez can score. The throw is going to come in. He will score. It's a 2-run single for Giovanola, and we're tied. So Giovanola picks up his 25th and 26th RBI of the year, and I think he got a hanging breaking ball to hit.
He hit the daylights out of a little trouble out in right field for Toots. He didn't know whether to dive for the ball or not. And then when he kicked it around, that allowed the tying run to score.
Actually looked like he hit a fairly good pitch down and away. But right here he plays a little handball with it, and that allows the second run to get in there.
Giovanola at first. Almeida the hitter. He too flied to center first time up. Takes strike 1 over the outside corner.
You get the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
No. Don't even start. Former Brave Sergio Valdez starting to crank it up down the left field line. Strike 2 on the inside corner. There he is. A couple of guys from that Zane Smith trade on this roster.
Yeah, Nate Minchie. Right?
Breaking ball is fouled away. Still 0-2.
Our old friend Otis Nixon had a good solid year for the Red Sox. 272, something like
40-something stolen bases. And his business is doing well.
Yeah, he's back out of North Point Lawn. The Ozone Electronic Circuit.
1-2. The count to Jose Almeida.
You have to get out there and see him.
I have. He's got good stuff.
No, I mean, I haven't talked to him since he's gone back to the American League.
As he has been every place that he's played, very popular in Boston. Could be 2. Rodriguez to Rodriguez. They'll only get 1. I don't know if I could have followed that up with Twardowski, so I think they got that horse play.
I'm still rooting for a rundown.
4-6 on the put out if you're keeping score. Almeida will stand at first base. Top of the order, Jarvis Brown. Struck out his first time up and grounded to third. Pardon me. Oh, great one.
Joe and I had a rundown play up in Toronto and that spring training game up in the Skydome. We got so confused. They had so many Latin kids that we'd never heard of playing for Toronto. We had the umpire, Angel Hernandez, making the tag. It's like...
There goes the runner. The throw to second will not get him. A running jump for Almeida. He makes that look easy. So the go-ahead run now in scoring position. That's 16 swipes for Jose Almeida.
You'll see the catcher, Hatteberg, sort of double clutch here, and that makes it very easy. Well, you won't see it on this particular play, but trust me, he sort of patted his glove one time before he threw it.
Outside, and it's 2-0 to Jarvis Brown. Brown coming off a good night last night at home. He was 3 out of 4, a couple of runs. He had a double, he had an RBI. He's hit 12 of his last 16. Pushed his average all the way up near the 290 mark. He had an 18-game hitting streak this summer. That's the longest one for the Richmond Braves since all the way back in 1976. Another hanging breaking ball, and he got away with it.
Who was that?
That would have been Junior Moore.
I remember Junior. Had a cup of coffee or 2 at a bench. Never quite. I thought he was going to be an outstanding player, but never quite happened to him.
Got him with the breaking ball. That'll take care of the 4th inning for the Braves, but not before they put 2 on the board. They do it on a couple of hits, and they leave 1 stranded. We'll move to the bottom of the 4th inning from McCoy Field. We're tied at 3.
3-3 is our score. You see some of the fans looking on here. And now it's time for our Aflac trivia question, and you see it there. The last manager to lead Richmond to a divisional title.
You know that one?
No, I don't. Do you?
No.
How about...
Stall for a minute and I'll run down and ask Pete. But you know he'll know.
Jim Beecham is a possibility.
That would be probably a good guess. Bottom of the 4th inning, tied at 3. Twardowski, Rodriguez, and Tootsis. In the air, left side. Oliva Giovanola, who wants it? It'll be the shortstop. 1 pitch, 1 out. I'll bring up Carlos Rodriguez.
The shortstop, Carlos Rodriguez.
He's out of Mexico City, originally signed by the Yankees back in 1987. Had a cup of coffee up in the big league level. About 60 days with the Yankees organization. Strike 1 over the outside corner. He's one of those guys that was playing in the Mexican League when he drew the attention of some Major League scouts, and Yankees liked what they saw and signed him. A couple of years at Fort Lauderdale, Albany, Columbus. Never could quite crack the big league level for any length of time. 1-1 to count.
What's your guess on the strike, old buddy? You got one? Length?
Yeah, I'm making vacation plans. Tries to bunt. Woodall there quickly. Bad hop. Good throw.
Oh, he made an outstanding play on that ball. It should have been an easy play, but it hit something and almost rolled right by him. Good play by Woodall. Here's another look. He bunted it right back to the mound. Look at that.
Right fielder.
Boy, did he get himself in a good throwing position after he grabbed it.
So you think we're shut down for the year?
I think so. Unfortunately. Here's Stootz's. The home run, his 9th of the year, 39 RBIs. There's a strike on the breaking ball, and it's 0-1. How about you?
I thought it would be over in, I think I said September 15th. So I'm going to stick with that for now, but as every day goes by, you get a little less optimistic.
See, logically, and maybe that's where I'm going about it all wrong, logically, I don't see how anybody can afford to foul up postseason play. That is such a key for fans, for owners, and for players. If there can be World Series and the Korean conflict, World War I and World War II, the Depression.
Vietnam?
Yep. I don't see how you can foul it up here. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Tootz's.
You don't, huh? I can see how they can foul it up. Let's read the paper.
Left side. Kowitz and Giovanoli with a look, and Kowitz comes up just short. Boy, did he come a long way for that.
See if he's all right. He hit over there in the warning track.
And
good effort.
That warning track is not cushioned.
No, he is going to take a little while to walk this off. And the fans here give him a great hand, as they should. This is a good effort. Had it in the web, and it came out when he hit the deck. And good hustle by the third base umpire. 2. Good play all the way around. Brian Arnora got out there.
So Tootz's is still alive, and Woodall, smart thing he's doing, he's giving his left fielder a chance to take a few extra seconds to walk it off. Kowitz now stations himself a couple of steps closer to the left field line. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Do you see a little of the Carl Yastrzemski influence in Tootz's stance and the way he holds the bat?
Yeah, a little bit.
Got him this time. Well, Woodall wins this battle, has himself a 1-2-3 inning. The Paw Sox go quietly here in the 4th. We have completed 4 from McCoy Stadium. We're tied at 3.
2 hours is all it takes to discover the world. Watch National Geographic Explorer every Sunday night at 9 Eastern, exclusively on TBS.
And now it's time for the answer to the Aflac trivia question. There's the question.
And the answer is?
As we told you, Jim Beecham. Now coaching for the Atlanta Braves.
Top of the 5th inning. Kowitz will lead it off. Mike Kelley, Louis Lopez to follow. Kowitz 1 out of 2. He has a single and a stolen base. The average up now to 297. Didn't get that one. He's in a hole 0-2. Paw Sox. Sounds like a foot warmer for a kitten, doesn't it?
No.
Paw Sox.
Oh, I get it.
We only have another half inning. 1, 2, 3, go sit down. That is strikeout number 5 for Frank Rodriguez. And 2 in a row that he's rung up. Mike Kelley's the hitter. Kelley got the scoring started for the Richmond Braves. His 13th homer of the year with 2 outs in the 1st inning. Drew a walk his 2nd time up. Drew a walk after he fouled off 2 really good pitches from Frank Rodriguez. A little bit tardy on that one, and it's 0-1. Well, when last we saw Mike Kelley, he had fouled a ball off his foot, and they were a little concerned as to whether or not he had a break. Good news was he found out it was just a bruise. A little bit painful for a couple of days, but he's right back in the lineup. There's that breaking ball in the middle of the strike zone, and it's 1-2. Make it 2-2. You've watched him a couple of places when he came up with the Braves. Left field, center field. Where do you like him best?
I think he's a better center fielder, don't you?
Yes, I do. I think he's going to be a real good one. Chase the breaking ball. That's 3 strikeouts in a row for Rodriguez, giving him 6 for the night. 2 gone here in the 5th inning. And he may be getting untracked.
Yeah, it looked like he was hittable early.
There's that breaking ball. That one had a little bend to it. It didn't snap over the outside corner, but he got it to break down enough to get the hitter.
That'll bring up Louis Lopez. He's 0 for 2. A strikeout, a grounder to third. Another breaking ball, late breaker, and a good one. It's 0-1. Skip Caray, Don Sutton with you for one more out. Pete Van Weiren and Joe Simpson will take you home. It'll be all right. The fastball is upstairs, and it's 1-1. In the air, left side, shallow left field. Going back is Rodriguez. Coming on is Munoz, and Rodriguez waves away the outfielders for the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Rodriguez. He has now set down 4 in a row. We're halfway home. We're tied at 3. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Pete Van Weiren, Joe Simpson joining you here at McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, where we're all tied at 3. 2 of the top pitchers in the International League going at it, Joe.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that there have been some runs scored early because these 2 guys have been mowing people down, pitching great baseball, but it's like they've both settled down a little bit after giving up some early runs, and you and I both feel like we're out 11 with it.
It is a little brighter in here, isn't it? There's Tony Rodriguez leading off for Pawtucket, fouling off the first pitch, 0-1. Over on the radio side, you may have seen a shot of it earlier. We're outside. The radio booth is really outside the press box here, and there is absolutely no light over there. It's a little dark. Woodall's 0-1 pitch. Right through there for a strike, 0-2.
I know Don's probably talked a lot about Woodall and Rodriguez tonight and their abilities, but you really have to like both these guys in the way they go about their business. Both have bright futures in their organizations.
Woodall was so impressive in that emergency start he had to make during all those doubleheaders in St. Louis. Even though he was the losing pitcher, showed a lot of poise. Everybody from the manager Bobby Cox through the coaching staff on down, very impressed with this young left-hander. Here's the 2-2. See if this will stay in play. Should. In foul territory, Jose Oliva. Lots of foul territory here at McCoy Stadium. 1 down. This was the sight, Joe, of one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in a baseball game. I was broadcasting for Tidewater back in 1974. And that year, both Tidewater and Pawtucket were having bad years. They were in different divisions. Tidewater was in last place in their division. Pawtucket was in last place in their division. Got to be the end of the season. Got rained out the first night of a game in there. Had to play a twilight doubleheader with 2 teams 30 games out of first place in their respective divisions. First game went 10 innings. Second game went 12. Bob Didier, who is now managing at Syracuse and formerly a Braves catcher, hit a home run on the bottom of the 12th inning to win the game for Pawtucket, and both dugouts emptied toward home plate to congratulate him. I have never seen that before or since. Both teams were just so glad the night was over. It was about midnight, and there were about 150 people left in the ballpark at the time. 1-1 the count now on Scott Hatteberg, the catcher.
Haven't you kind of felt that way before, though?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody win it.
Here's the 1-1. Low in the count, 2-1.
That might have been the way they felt here when they had that 33-inning game. When was that? 81?
It was the last year that Wade Boggs played at AAA, so it must have been around, and he played in that game. So did Cal Ripken Jr. High fly ball, deep right field. Jarvis Brown going back to the warning track, and just shy of the wall. He's got it for out number 2. Hatteberg just missing one.
Well, anything hit to the outfield here has a chance to go out, as small as this ballpark is. We were talking about this on the radio, Pete, about how the outfielders can afford, with their speed, especially Richmond's outfielders, to play shallow. Anything hit over your head is not going to be that far away from you. You're going to concede a double, but you can take away a lot of singles. And I'm looking at Brian Kolitz in left field right now. He can't be more than about, 280, 290 feet away.
And you look at the history of the Pawtucket Red Sox, and they've got a lot of players that have come through here. Phil Plantier, Jim Rice, Fred Lynn, Mo Vaughn. Had a lot of home runs, and you can see why playing in this ballpark. But the guy that holds the record for the Pawtucket Red Sox for most home runs in a season never did much at the big league level, Jack Baker.
Boy, he could hit.
He was a great big first baseman, hit 36 homers in 1976, but never saw much of him at the major league level.
I played against Jack in AA in the Eastern League one year, and he hit a bunch of homers. He could really hit them a long way, too.
Here's the 1-1 to Jeff McNeely, and the count goes to 1-2. Woodall is now retired 6 in a row. Also got locked in this ballpark one night with my good friend George McClellan, who may be watching tonight from down in Florida. He was a writer covering the Tidewater Ball Club, and he was having some transmission problems getting a story fed back to the newspaper. So I waited for him to finally get it sent. We were the last 2 in the press box. We got downstairs. All the gates were locked. We were trapped. Had to notify a couple of patrons leaving a restaurant across the street to get us some help, get us out of here. Off the glove of Oliva and trickling into left center field. And McNeely reaches with 2 outs. We'll see how they score it. It'll go as a base hit.
One of the question marks about Jose Oliva has been his range. What can he get to? Shows you here he can get to a lot, and maybe not for the better for Brad Woodall. It looked like Giovanolo was going to be there to make a play. With McNeely's speed, though, he might have still beaten it out.
Now the second baseman, Steve Rodriguez. 1 for 2. He singled back in the third and came around to score on the Jose Munoz double. We're tied at 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Little looper, Almeida going back toward right center to make the catch. And that's all for Pawtucket in the bottom half of the 5th inning. We go to the 6th, still tied.
Would you want my ring?
Denny, I don't know what to say.
Say yes.
Yes.
Magic Moments, TBS Date Night Fridays, beginning this Friday at 8:05 Eastern on TBS.
We are tied at 3 as we go to the top half of the 6th inning. Jose Oliva, Tyler Houston, and Eddie Perez due up against Frank Rodriguez. 3 runs, 4 hits for each side. Another full house here at McCoy Stadium. This franchise has always drawn well. We're only about 45 minutes away from Boston. And you'll find a lot of fans in this area. They come to all the Pawtucket games when the Paw Sox are home. When the Paw Sox are on the road, they might drive over to Boston, take in a Red Sox game at Fenway, and watch a lot of the same players they saw come through here. Here's Oliva, who has flied to left and walked. And the first pitch foul back on 1.
That was a good scene at the start of the broadcast tonight with the way the kids have to get autographs here, dropping their cans and bottles or whatever they have to put their autograph material in to lower it down to the players.
Stands here remind you a little bit of the stands at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. They have the dugouts flush with the field, no steps. And the front row, you're actually a little bit higher than you are in most ballparks. Here's the 0-1. And it's 0-2 now in Oliva.
Rodriguez's slider tonight has been very effective when he's been ahead in the count. It's not a big breaker, but he throws it hard and just has enough movement on it to really throw off the right-handed hitters. Struck out Kelley with a beauty his last time up. Now the 0-2 pitch on the way to Jose Oliva. 11 away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Magic number for Pawtucket to win their division is down to 4, so they should have their division wrapped up sometime this week. Richmond, it looks like, will go right to the end of the year, which
happens at the end of next week, and they've got their final 5 games of the year with the team that they're a half game in front of right now, Charlotte.
They have a very tough schedule.
Yep. Here's the 1-2. Bouncing ball hit up the middle. Rodriguez, nice play to his left, and he throw him out at first. Not in time. That'll be a base hit for Jose Oliva, and some of the crowd not agreeing with the call by Jim Paler at first.
This was a terrific defensive play by this time Carlos Rodriguez. 360 turn, an accurate throw, and a good dig over there by Twardowski, but Oliva able to just beat it out by a step. Nice play, nice defensive effort by one of the 3 Rodriguez's on the infield for Pawtucket.
That'll bring up Tyler Houston, who's 0 for 2. He is grounded out to second and struck out. In the air to deep center field. Back goes McNeely to the wall. This one's gone. 2-run homer for Tyler Houston. Only his 3rd homer of the year. And Richmond reclaims the lead 5-3.
Kind of funny from my vantage point. I have to kind of lean up to see the hitter, and when I saw the third baseman Tony Rodriguez charging, expecting a bunt, kind of surprised me. I thought, had Houston already squared around or something? Well, he didn't exactly square around. He got some pretty good extension. Here's the swing again, and hit it off the end of the bat a little bit. He didn't get all of that one.
You can do that in this ballpark. It's only 380 to straightaway center. That ball would not have gone out at some other ballparks. Most other ballparks. Here's Eddie Perez, who has walked and doubled, taking ball 1.
That'll be good for Tyler, who's not had a great year, certainly, but his 3rd homer will make him feel a little better.
2-0 now, the count on Perez. And it goes to 3-0. Now, looking at Tyler Houston's career, I think they expected him to be able to hit with a little more power than he's shown. He had 13 home runs at Sumter in 1990, but it's been going down ever since. 8 at Macon in 91, 7 at Durham in 92, 6 last year at Greenville and Richmond combined, and only 3 this year at Richmond. That walk by Rodriguez is 4th. Sergio Valdez is up again in the Pawtucket bullpen. And the batter will be Ed Giovanola.
As well as Rodriguez has pitched recently, and actually for the whole season with 8 complete games in his 26 starts. His record only 8-11. So he's had some tough luck. His last start, I'm sure Skip and Don told you, his team was no hit by Jose Lima of Toledo.
Giovanola, a 2-run single his last time up. He's also fly to center. Fouled off at the plate, 0-1.
Middle infielders in a lot of organizations hard to come by, Pete. But on this ball club alone, you've got a wealth of guys that can play both shortstop and second base. And more second basemen coming, actually, at the Greenville Ball Club with Graffinino.
Foul back to count 0-2.
Ramon Caraballo had a hard time finding playing time. They had to send him to Greenville.
He was sent back. You've got Giovanola. Mike Mordecai is not in the lineup tonight, along with Olmeda, who is. Pat Kelley is another middle infielder on this Richmond Ball Club. So the Braves very deep.
And all solid defensive players.
In the air down the left field line. Munoz giving chase toward that corner and makes a nice running catch. Gets the throw back to the infield and scampering back to first, Eddie Perez, 1 down. Munoz, an infielder by trade, pressed into action in the outfield for Pawtucket tonight. He makes a nice play, and that'll bring up Jose Olmeda. It was fly to center and hit into a 4-6 force play. On the ground, taken by the second baseman. Late break by Rodriguez off the mound. He won't make it to first. I think he thought that Rodriguez was going to make the play at second, and Twardowski was not going to come off the bag at first. By the time he noticed how far off the bag Twardowski was, it was too late. And Almeida reaches safely.
If you stop to think about that and wonder what's going to happen, as you can see, he became a spectator here. Then it's too late to get over and cover. And Almeida runs well and had an easy time of it, beating him to the bag.
So that goes as a base hit, the 7th.
It's Glenn Murray. He's been fighting a flu bug.
And here's Jarvis Brown. Brown has struck out twice and grounded out to third. First and second, 1 out. 7 hits for Richmond in the game now off Rodriguez. Count 0-1 on Jarvis Brown. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pawtucket's been a good road ball club, but the best road team in the International League has been the Richmond Braves, and why not? Their parent club the same way.
39-24 on the road, but look at the home record. A game under 500 at home. That's very unusual. In first place by 1/2 game over Charlotte in their division. 2-1 the count now on Brown.
And this Pawtucket ball club, if they go 8-4 in their last 12 games, can set a record for their franchise for most wins.
Here's the 2-1 on the way. It's 2-2 now on Brown.
Sometimes when you have a ballpark this size, Pete, people say, well, why don't you move the fences back? And rather than do that, which involves a lot of expense for a minor league team, sometimes you can move home plate back. But you can't at this ballpark do that either, because there's not very much room behind home plate for the screen.
Here's the 2-2, and there's a fly ball hit out to shallow right field. Toots is coming in, making the call. And the catch for out number 2. The runners return to first and second. It's interesting, too, you can look at some of the ball clubs and ball players that played there. We talked about Wade Boggs earlier. Back in 1974, Pawtucket had a team. On that team, Jim Rice. He won the International League batting championship that year. Fred Lynn had a great year, went on to become Rookie of the Year for Boston the next year. Rick Burleson was the shortstop on that 74 team. Andy Merchant, who made it to the big leagues as a catcher for a while, was the catcher for that team. They finished dead last. 30 games under 500, 31 games out of first with all that hitting. They had no pitching. In fact, some of the records for the most runs and hits allowed by a pitcher in the course of a year happened during that 74 season. 1 ball, no strikes on Brian Kowitz, who's 1 for 3. That's up high, and the count 2-0.
Al Galima just said that Jim Rice was the Triple Crown winner that year for Pawtucket.
For a last place ball club.
I'll just say something about how important pitching is.
Here's the 2-0 on the way, and it's outside. 3-0. In their record book. Most runs allowed in 1 year. Mark Bomback allowed 114 in 1974. Most walks in 1 year. Bill Coons in 1974 walked 102. So pitching was a problem for a team that had all those future major leaguers. And this looks like it's going to be the end of the night for Frank Rodriguez, who has just walked Brian Kowitz to load the bases. And a former Atlanta Brave, Sergio Valdez, coming on to pitch now for Pawtucket. Richmond leading at 5-3. We're in the bottom half of the, making the top half of the 6th inning here at McCoy Stadium. The new pitcher, a familiar face if you've been a Braves fan for a number of years, Sergio Valdez. He's 29 years old, or will be 29 years old in September. Pitched for the Braves briefly back in 1989 and again in 1990. He was a part of a trade, traded by the Montreal Expos, along with pitcher Nate Minchie, who's a current teammate, and outfielder Kevin Dean to the Braves for Zane Smith. Back in 1989, then he pitched a little bit for Cleveland, Went back to the Montreal organization. He's bounced around trying to stay on.
He's had a good year, too. He's 8-4, a 3.36 ERA, so he's done a good job for the Paw Sox, trying to get an opportunity to get back to the big leagues.
He'll be facing Mike Kelley here. Kelley has homered, walked, and struck out. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Richmond leading at 5-3. When the Atlanta Braves broke spring training camp in 1990, the hopes were that Sergio Valdez would be the closer in the bullpen. Braves had a lot of bullpen question marks that year, and they tried him as a closer, but didn't last. He only was with the club 6 games before they released him. 1 ball, no strikes. Got a fork ball. That's his number 1 pitch. Here's the 1-0 to Mike Kelley. And it's outside, ball 2-0.
Mike Kelley, watching his swings, it surprises me how much bat speed he can generate. He has a short, quick stride, wide stance, but it's a fairly long swing. Sometimes you'd think he'd get jammed more, but he doesn't. He gets the head of the bat through that hitting area quickly.
And it's now 3-0 on Mike Kelley.
And one thing he does that I really like is where he starts with his hands, to get them started a little bit, he moves them back some. It's good to have a little something going as you go into your swing rather than just starting from a dead still position.
Here's the 3-0 pitch, and there's a strike, 3-1. 5 runs, 7 hits for Richmond, 3 runs, 4 hits for Pawtucket. We're in the top of the 6th. Valdez, the 3-1 pitch. He walks in a run. Give Kelley an RBI. Eddie Perez strolls home. It's now 6-3. RBI number 43 for Mike Kelley.
And of the 5 walks issued by that man, Frank Rodriguez, so far 2 have scored, and there's another guy out there that he put on base with a walk.
And now the 9th man to bat in the inning, Louis Lopez, is 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out, grounded out to third, and popped to short. That misses. Ball 1.
Lopez, another guy who utilizes a very short stride. Quick swing.
Bouncer to third, and right under the glove of Rodriguez into left field. 2 more runs are going to score. And Richmond now leads it 8-3. As Olmeda and Brian Kowitz come home, and a ball that got right under the glove of third baseman Tony Rodriguez.
Turned into a big inning for the Braves. It started with the 2-run homer by Tyler Houston, and then the walks came. Lopez finds a good spot on a ball that didn't come up for Tony Rodriguez. Play like that, Pete, you got to get leather on it. You got to make sure the ball doesn't get by you. Even if you don't glove it cleanly, you still have a chance to get a force play with a runner that doesn't get down the line too quickly. And Lopez.
Jose Oliva, who's batting for the 2nd time in the inning, lines one to left, caught by Munoz. And that is it for Richmond in the 6th. But a big 6th inning as they send 10 men to the plate. And 5 of them score. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Richmond leading it 8-3.
8-3 Richmond as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and we're still waiting. We've credited Louis Lopez with a base hit. The official scorer wants to take another look at this play where Lopez hit a ball that didn't come up, stayed under the glove of Tony Rodriguez, who had to go to his left. And here's a better angle. Watch the ball. He's expecting a high hop, but it didn't come up for him.
So we'll wait for the official scorer's ruling, which has still not been made, as Munoz leads off here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Jose Munoz, 1 for 2, had a run-scoring double back in the 3rd. This has become a major imbroglio over there. The official scorer still can't make up his mind whether to give Louis Lopez a hit or to give Pawtucket third baseman Tony Rodriguez an error. Here's the 1-1. In the left field, no question about that one. That's a base hit. Hit number 5. Allowed by Brad Woodall. Munoz aboard.
Well, it could affect several things, Pete. It could be 2 more RBIs for Luis Lopez, which would give him 78 on the year. It could be 2 more earned runs for Frank Rodriguez.
Now they have a good. Now they have scored the base hit.
I think that's a good call.
Here's Eric Wedge, who has struck out and popped to second. Woodall with a nice 5-run cushion to work with now. Deep to center field. Going back is Kelley. Looking up, and that ball is gone. Home run number 17 of the year for Eric Wedge to make it 8-5.
Pitchers, usually low-scoring games with Woodall and Rodriguez. Brad came into the ballgame having allowed only 12 home runs in 170 innings, and he's given up 2 tonight. Eric Wedge crushed that one to center field.
He has 17 home runs. He's only playing in his 67th game for Pawtucket.
Hear the fans? Eric's trotting around the bases. They're all shouting, Wedgie, Wedgie. Amazing.
Mike Twardowski, the hitter, has walked and popped to short. Woodall with a 3-run cushion now as he tries to win his 15th game, which would tie him for the International League lead. But when you got an earned run average this late in the year of 2.01 into a game, you haven't had many games like this where you're giving up 5 runs. And it's 3-0 now on Twardowski. There's still no activity in the Richmond bullpen, but it looks like that's about to change. There's some movement out there now. Terry Clark, who has done such a good job on our 2 previous Richmond telecasts. Count goes to 3-1 now on Twardowski. And now they've changed the call on Lopez. They've put the hits back to 7 and put an error up for Pawtucket. So they've changed it from a hit to an error. Into deep left field, Coates back on the warning track for the catch. Twardowski retired. So go back to that 6th inning top half and give an error to the third baseman Rodriguez. That takes away the 2 RBIs.
Watch this swing right off the end of the bat, one-handed, just a flare to left, and it turns into a near home run. It's like playing in Fenway.
1 man out for Carlos Rodriguez. The Pawtucket shortstop 0 for 2 tonight. Count goes to 2-0. Richmond leading it now 8-5. Brad Woodall has only given up 5 earned runs in a game once this year. Make it twice. Both times against Syracuse. Once back in May, once in July. So this is as hard as anybody has hit him, and he still has a chance to be a winner tonight. Now the 2-2. Down the right field line. Fair or foul? That's a fair ball. Jarvis Brown cuts it off quickly, and he'll hold Carlos Rodriguez to a single. Good play by Brown. That home run, by the way, by Eric Wedge. The 9th home run he's hit in August, and 8 of them have been 2-run homers.
Picking up a lot of RBIs here at the close of the season. Rodriguez with a nice inside-out swing to just put the ball in play, and Jarvis Brown, even though he almost slipped and fell, because he was playing shallow, able to hold him to a single. Good job by Jarvis, who really does do a good job for you defensively in the outfield. This Richmond ball club, Grady Little out to talk to Brad Woodall to make sure he was all right, might be able to finish this inning. this outfield able to cover a lot of ground. You got three guys all capable of playing center field out there tonight, and forwards Kelley and Jarvis Brown.
Now Paul Tootsis, who has a 2-run homer and a strikeout, taking ball 1 from Woodall. 8 runs, 7 hits for Richmond, 5 runs, 7 hits for Pawtucket. Not the kind of game we expected with the 2 starting pitchers we had tonight, 2 of the best in the league. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tootsis. Carlos Rodriguez gets his lead at first. Another one bounces up there. And the count goes to 2-1. Here's the 2-1 offering. 2-2.
Good off-speed pitch. The one thing I've noticed about Woodall, Pete, is that he's really got a lot of confidence in his off-speed pitches deep in the count. He struck out McNeely to start the ball game on a 3-2 off-speed pitch. Looked like a straight changeup. It was a beauty.
Here's the 2-2. And the breaking ball. Check swing the appeal to Brian O'Nora. He says no swing. And the count full 3-2.
Yeah, when you only have 3 umpires, runner at first, third base umpire's got to go out by second, and that's where you make your appeal.
Here's the 3-2 in the way, and he walked it. Tootsis down to first with a walk. That's only the second walk issued by Woodall. That's going to be the end of the night for him. So Woodall lasts 5 1/3 innings and will leave with a 3-run lead, 2 runners on, and Tony Rodriguez, the scheduled hitter. And Terry Clark gets the call from the Richmond bullpen. Richmond leading at 8-5. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning here at McCoy Stadium. Pawtucket will bring the tying run to the plate. They have runners at first and second, 1 man out. And the new pitcher for Richmond is right-hander Terry Clark, making his 56th appearance out of the Richmond bullpen. You see the 24 saves, a 4-3 record, and our 2 previous Richmond telecasts. Clark has worked in both of them, and in 3 1/3 innings, he's allowed no runs, a hit, and struck out 5.
Yeah, he's always around the plate, Pete. That's what I like about him. He comes in throwing strikes, doesn't get behind too many guys. When he first started the season, we've talked about how he was the closer, and that's how he got those 24 saves. And he only allowed 1 of the first 15 runners he inherited to score. He's had a little more trouble with that lately as the setup guy, but you can always count on him to come in and at least get the ball over the plate.
Brad Woodall looking on as Terry Clark tries to get him out of further trouble here in the 6th inning. Tony Rodriguez, the batter, he's 0 for 2. He's lined out to second and fouled out to third. Terry Clark, 33 years old, has been in professional baseball since 1979. And he's ahead in the count 0-1. Listen to the places he has played along the way. Johnson City, Gastonia, St. Petersburg, Arkansas, Louisville, Midland, Edmonton. Couple of cups of coffee with the California Angels, Tucson, Colorado Springs, Rancho Cucamonga, Wichita, and now Richmond.
Sounds like a train schedule.
A little bit of time with Houston, too, back in 1990. Quickly 0-2 on Tony Rodriguez.
See what a difference it makes right here at the tying run coming to the plate. Pawtucket rallying, and instead of having to pitch behind in the count and deliver a strike, he gets ahead quickly 0-2, and now he can try to get Rodriguez, Tony Rodriguez, to chase a bad pitch. He doesn't have to throw him a strike here for a couple of pitches.
Here's the 0-2 on the way. Laid off the breaking ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tootsis at first, Carlos Rodriguez at second. The 1-2 to Tony Rodriguez, 2-2.
Good pitch.
And good discipline showed by Tony Rodriguez laying off that pitch.
Sure was. Perez set up on the outside corner. That one just didn't tail back enough. Started a little bit too far off the plate. Now let's see what he does here on the 2-2 pitch if he comes back with the slider.
Takeoff play on at second base. That was close. Gio Vanola cutting in behind the runner, Carlos Rodriguez.
Put the throw right on the bag, too.
Here's the 2-2. Into shallow center field. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Carlos Rodriguez around third. He will score. A good throw by Mike Kelley. That play a little closer than it looked like it was going to be. But another run is in, and now Richmond leads it 8-6. RBI number 18 for Tony Rodriguez. Stopping at second, Paul Tutsis.
A changeup that he left upstairs too high, too hittable for Rodriguez. Another thing about playing shallow, Pete, your throws don't have to be very long. Mike Kelley got rid of that ball quickly, and Perez, without the baseball, almost blocked Carlos Rodriguez off the plate.
That'll bring up the catcher, Scott Hatteberg, who is grounded out to short and fly to right. 8-6, runners first and second, still only one out. And Hatteberg takes a strike. Count 0-1. Hatteberg out of Washington State University. Pops one foul, back out of play, 0-2.
Out of Yakima, Washington. He's had a little trouble hitting with men in scoring position. Grady Little would like a double play ball here if he can get one from Clark.
Again, Clark has gotten himself ahead in the count 0-2. And now the 0-2 pitch on the way, and it misses outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hatteberg has moved up the Red Sox organization very quickly. Only spent 1 year at the A level, then about a year and a half at AA. Was called up to AAA last year.
I believe he was drafted the same year that Frank Rodriguez was drafted. Rodriguez the first pick, Hatteberg the third pick.
Here's the 1-2. And to center field, Kelley coming in, and he's got it. The runners stay put at first and second, 2 down. Well, the Richmond Braves sent 10 men to the plate in the top half of this inning. Now the 8th man to bat for Pawtucket. Center fielder Jeff McNeely, who's 1 for 3. And an infield hit his last time up. Figure out McNeely's career, hitting .229 coming into this game. Last year, played in 21 games with the Red Sox, hit .297 after hitting .261 at Pawtucket. But 2 years ago, he hit only .218 in AA ball. 3 years ago, .322 to lead the Carolina League. This is kind of a roller coaster type of career for Jeff McNeely to this point.
He was second in the league last year in stolen bases, too, with 40. But this year, he has struggled in the stolen base category, only 12 out of 28.
1-1 the count. Here's the 1-1 on the way, almost hit him, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And the breaking ball makes it 2-2 now on McNeely.
See, with Eddie Perez behind the plate, these runners don't take too many liberties with their leads. They don't go dancing off first or second base when nobody's holding them on.
Here's the 2-2. Full count, 3-2. Waiting on next, Steve Rodriguez.
And Clark's worked himself into a spot now where he's got to throw a strike. And he has to rely on some movement to fool McNeely here. He's not really able to throw it by him.
Got the movement, got the strikeout.
Slider.
And that's all for Pawtucket in the bottom half of the 6th inning. They come back with 3 runs of their own. We go to the 7th. Richmond's lead, a 2-run lead.
At the end of 6, here's our Budweiser game summary. A game we thought was going to be a pitching duel between Brad Woodall and Frank Rodriguez has evolved into a slugfest. Kelley and Houston with a home run each. Kitty and Wedge home runs for Pawtucket. And Eddie Giovanola also drove in a couple of runs. And we go to the 7th.
And leading it off against Sergio Valdez will be Tyler Houston. 2-run homer his last time up. Taking ball 1. Tyler Houston is outside, the count 2-0. Tyler Houston, Pawtucket second baseman Steve Rodriguez, Greg and Mike Maddox, all into the same high school baseball program, Valley High School in Las Vegas. Down the left field line, let's see if anybody can get to it. Long run by the left fielder, and that's the shortstop, Carlos Rodriguez, and finally makes the play. I don't think anybody was quite sure who was calling that one and who was going to get to that one.
And you mentioned that Jose Munoz, the left fielder, normally an infielder, he's trying his hardest out there. He's had a couple of tough plays tonight, but he knows at least to try to get out of the way of his fellow infielder, Rodriguez, who makes the catch.
That looked like a choreographed play, didn't it? Now Eddie Perez. Perez a double and a pair of walks tonight. Fouled off at the plate, 0-1. Perez doing almost all the catching for Richmond lately, with John Orton now on the disabled list. Tyler Houston pressed into service at first base on occasion, also DHing once in a while. And usually this late in the year, if you're a catcher and you're being asked to catch basically every night, your batting average will suffer a little bit.
That could be just the case.
Perez is up around 280 for a while, but down the 250s when the night began. 1-2 the count. Still 1-2. Foul down the left side. Something off the sports ticker just came in. The 2 front men for the union and the player relations committee, Donald Fear and Richard Ravitch, appeared on Larry King program on CNN tonight, and both said they would talk around the clock on Wednesday if that's what federal mediators want. Both say they're willing to negotiate for a full 24 hours if we have to.
Nobody called the other guy hatchet man or anything?
Well, that's all it says here. Sure more went on than that.
That was not a good way to start things.
No, it wasn't. Well, they'll meet tomorrow. We'll see. That's all for Perez. He chased a bad pitch. Sergio Valdez has his first strikeout, 2 down.
pretty good off-speed pitch by Valdez. That's probably the fork ball you mentioned earlier.
Yep, you can see the grip.
See this ball go down.
The shortstop, and Giovanola.
Tried to get a piece of it to stay alive, but couldn't reach it.
2 down. Here's Ed Giovanola. 1 for 3, a 2-run single back in the 4th inning. The attendance tonight, 7,432. This ballpark seating capacity is listed at 7,200, but they've built some extra bleacher seats, which add a couple hundred more to the capacity, and it's over 7,400 tonight. Minor league attendance, what did I see today? Up about 20% since the Major League Strike began, all over the minor leagues. At all levels. There's a called strike, 1-1.
Yeah, they're enjoying the fact that this is the only game in town right now.
And fans who don't live in major league cities, who had planned to take trips to see Major League Baseball, a lot of them changing those plans and coming over to see AAA or AA games. We've run into some fans of the Braves who changed their mind about where they were going to spend their vacation when the baseball strike began and rescheduled their trips. Instead of going to Atlanta to take in a game, they're traveling to places like Toledo, Richmond, Pawtucket. We've seen some tonight. One ball, 2 strikes on Giovanola. Ground ball hit to first, fielded by Twardowski. Takes it himself. A 1-2-3 inning for Valdez. We go to the bottom half of the 7th. 8-6 Richmond.
Mr. Gallagher. The big names are on Turner Classic Movies. The new channel with the greatest movies of all time, all the time. More classic movies than any other channel and not a commercial in sight. Call your cable company and tell them you want Turner Classic Movies.
What was that you said?
Turner Classic Movies, the new channel for great movies.
Bottom half of the 7th inning, a capacity crowd here at McCoy Stadium on its feet for the 7th inning stretch. And Steve Rodriguez will lead off here in the bottom half of the 7th, as is the case in a lot of minor league ballparks. Major league ballparks normally open the gates about 2 hours before game time. Here in Pawtucket, we had fans filing in here as early as 4 o'clock this afternoon. They come out and take it all in. The hitters that are coming out taking extra hitting.
Yeah, it was funny, though. Both sides were on the road. Well, Pawtucket was on the road. Richmond, of course, flew in from their home ballpark, but only a few of the Pawtucket team took batting practice.
And none of the Richmond Braves did. It's 1-1 now on Steve Rodriguez.
No matter what ballpark you're in, fans always happy to get a foul ball.
Terry Clark on in relief of Brad Woodall. Woodall worked 5 1/3, allowed 7 hits, 6 runs. Most runs he's given up in any of his starts this year. They were all earned, 2 runs and 2 walks rather, and 3 strikeouts. It's 1-2 now on Steve Rodriguez. Pedro Borbon up in the Richmond bullpen. Here's the 1-2 to Rodriguez. Outside corner, strike 3 call. Second strikeout of the game for Clark. 1 gone in the bottom of the 7th.
Boy, he put that right on the corner. That was a pitch he tried to strike out Tony Rodriguez with 2 strikes back in the 6th inning, but couldn't get the ball to move enough for him. That was right on the outside part of the plate.
Now the left fielder, Jose Munoz, 2 for 3. A single, a double, a ground out to third. Out of the Dodger organization. Taking ball 1. An infielder by trade. Pressed into service in the outfield tonight. I mentioned Glenn Murray, who's the leading home run hitter for this Pawtucket team. Out of action the last couple of days with a flu bug.
One of the great things about the minor leagues now is that if a guy gets caught in a system where he can't get out like Munoz did in Los Angeles, having to spend a lot of time at Albuquerque, which I can relate to, you can become a free agent, a minor league free agent after 6 years. And that's how Munoz got to the Red Sox organization. Maybe he can get to Boston.
Nice flip by Tyler Houston to the pitcher Terry Clark covering for out number 2. That was a good play. Houston hasn't played that much first base.
Think about Tyler Houston here as he makes this play. Here's a guy who signed as a catcher, but since he's been a part of the Braves organization, Javi Lopez has passed him by. Eddie Perez seems to be the guy that the Braves are looking at more and more as a catcher that's going to be a part of their big league future. And then they let Tyler play a little first base, and there's not a whole lot of future there.
No, there isn't. Not with Fred McGriff on the big club.
And beyond Fred, probably Ryan Klesko.
Into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit for Eric Wedge, who hit a 2-run homer his last time up. Broken bat single to center. He's 2 for 4. And that's the 9th hit of the game for Pawtucket.
That looked like a sand wedge.
And the batter will be Mike Twardowski, and Grady Little wants, it appears, his left-hander, Pedro Borbon, to come on and face Twardowski. Be the case. Borbon gets the call. He will inherit a 2-out runner at first situation with Richmond leading at 8-6 here in the bottom of the 7th.
This was the most perfect, dazzling creature I've ever seen. She's gone. Get it. She spoke to me. She spoke to me right through the window. I think she said, "I love you." That means nothing to you people? You have no romance, no soul? Someone wants me. Someone roaming the streets wants me. Will you turn the corner?
Magic Moments. TBS Date Night Fridays, beginning this Friday at 8:05 Eastern on TBS.
8-6 Richmond, bottom of the 7th. A runner at first, 2 outs, and the new pitcher, another of these Richmond Braves who has had some experience in Atlanta, Pedro Borbon, making his 55th appearance out of the Richmond bullpen. He's 3-4 with 3 saves, good earned run average, 2.75. He's been a guy, Joe, that has really done about all you can do at the AAA level. He's had 2 good years in a row now, but has not prospered much in his 2 brief trials with Atlanta.
Well, and he had a brutal spring, too, you might remember, Pete. He really pitched his way out of contention for any spot in the bullpen with really some horrendous outings this spring, but he does throw hard. He's got 74 strikeouts in 75 innings. And again, these guys, if there's no place to go, there's a lot of scouts combing the minor leagues right now with nothing else to do. And they can certainly use some left-handers if they can throw strikes elsewhere in baseball. Pitching's so hard to come by these days. Braves have quite a bit of it.
In 2 brief trials with Atlanta at the end of the 92 and 93 seasons, Borbon has made 5 appearances, giving up 5 runs in 3 innings. Missing to Twardowski, ball 1. They're not holding Eric Wedge at first. He's playing with a bad knee. Doesn't have much speed anyway. There's a strike, 1-1. It's 1-2 now.
You can see what problems he presents for a left-handed batter. A 3/4 delivery, throws hard, tough to stay in against him, and he's got a pretty sharp slider too.
His father, of course, a fine relief pitcher for many years with the Cincinnati Reds.
Good breaking ball.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think that kind of locked up Twardowski to the point he couldn't even swing. Was fortunate that he missed the plate away.
Right out in front of the plate, Eddie Perez firing a strike to first, and that'll do it for Pawtucket in the bottom of the 7th. They leave a runner. We go to the 8th. Still 8-6 Richmond.
Richmond after 7 innings of play here at Pawtucket. And a reminder that The NFL on TNT comes back your way on Friday night. Bruce Smith leads the Buffalo Bills as they take on Joe Montana and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on the NFL on TNT.
Top half of the 8th inning. And Jose Almeida leads off against Sergio Valdez. Almeida 1 for 3. Foul back.
Actually exceeded capacity here tonight. Their capacity for the stadium listed at 7,002, and they had 7,432 here in a stadium that was built back in 1942.
It's 0-2 now in Almeida.
Don't you love these old grandstand ballparks? Big roof overhang.
And this one has a real ballpark look to it. Sort of the Wrigley Field of the International League. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. And that's all for Almeida. Second strikeout for Sergio Valdez.
Another good fork ball. Struck out Eddie Perez with it. Watch this ball go down to Almeida. Down and away. That's tough.
Now Jarvis Brown is 0 for 4 tonight. His average has fallen 5 points. He was 292 coming in. He's down to 287 now.
Jarvis is a good player and would be on strike right now with a lot of ball clubs.
Another guy, Joe, that's really proven at the AAA level just about all he can prove. He's always had a good on-base percentage, has led a couple of leagues in that category as a leadoff hitter, can steal a base. Pretty good outfielder. Just looking for his chance somewhere. You were in that situation because you spent, as you mentioned before, a few years at Albuquerque. It must be very frustrating when you're sort of on the bubble like that. You're always that guy that's fighting for that 24th or 25th spot on a major league roster in spring training. You're usually one of the last guys cut. When you get back to AAA, you pick right up where you left off last year and do well.
Yeah, well, in one year's instance, Pete, it seemed like I'd done everything I could in the minor leagues and then hit over 300 in spring training and still didn't make the team. And you knew then that there was no chance. And year after year, it was getting tougher and tougher because the Dodgers were adding real good players in the outfield stable.
Still 2-2 on Jarvis Brown.
And you try to figure out what is best. Is it best to go on back to AAA and play again? Are you going to be able to accomplish anything more back there? And if you do, who's going to be watching? And it's really tough to maintain the right attitude.
AAA is the one level of minor league baseball where you really have all kinds of different stories going on in any ball club. In the air to left center field. That's fairly deep. But McNeely back on the warning track will make the catch for out number 2. And that'll bring up Brian Coates, the left fielder, who's 1 for 3. But you look at the rookie leagues, everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's a rookie trying to show that they belong in professional baseball. Class A, everybody's trying to advance to AA. AA, everybody's trying to get to AAA. But AAA, you get a mix of guys 30 years old who've been in the big leagues for a while. You get young kids 21, 22 years old who are very rapidly climbing toward the major leagues. It's a very different level of minor league baseball than all the other ones.
I'll tell you what happens, too, is with a ball club as rich in talent right now as Atlanta is, as it was in Los Angeles in the mid-'70s, you get a backlog everywhere. The organization has to make tough decisions on players that are at AAA. Do you keep them one more year and hold another guy back in AA, or do you try to make a deal or release some players at AAA so that these other guys can keep progressing? It's a tough call.
Here's the 1-1 to Coates. 1-2 the count. Richmond leading at 8-6 here in the top half of the 8th inning.
You think about the deal that John Sherholtz made to get Fred McGriff. Cost 3 minor league players, 3 pretty good minor league players, but if nothing else, it thinned out some spots for some other guys to move up at different levels in the organization.
Well, one of those minor league players, Melvin Nieves, was considered to be a top prospect in the Braves organization, an outfielder. And you can see why the Braves were able to part with him. Look at all the talent in the outfield just on this ball club. With Kowitz and Kelley and Jarvis Brown, who was acquired after the fact, but still has major league ability. Count goes to 3-2. And you've got other youngsters who are potential major leaguers, who are outfielders moving up very rapidly. Damon Hollins comes to mind right away.
Well, he sounds like he's going to be a good one.
Andre King, former top draft choice by the Braves. Ball 4 to Kowitz.
And Troy Hughes, who I know the Braves were high on in spring training. He's had a rough season in '94, but he could rebound and put himself right back in the picture for the big leagues, too.
And here is Mike Kelley, who has homered, walked twice, and struck out. He's driven in 2 runs. Two men out. Nothing and 1 the count on Kelley.
Mike didn't make contact with that swing, but I want to show you what we were talking about earlier. Watch how he moves his hands back as he starts his swing here, just to get him started. Short stride and a lot of leverage hitting against that firm front side. Really generates a lot of bat speed.
Here's the 0-1, and it misses low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You've been told, or you've heard, if you've been around baseball very long, that a hitch is bad in baseball. But a hitch is really only bad if you really drop your hands. You've got to hurry to get them back up on top of the ball. It's okay to move them back or up a little bit. And that's all Kelley does, is just move them back. Just gets the bat started.
2-1 the count. 8-6 Richmond, top half of the 8th inning. On the ground to shortstop Rodriguez, over to the second baseman Rodriguez. And the 6-4 force play ends it for Richmond here in the top of the 8th. Bottom half of the 8th coming up, still 8-6 Braves. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning on a beautiful night here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We had a beautiful day today, high of about 75 degrees. It was 63 at game time, a little cool right now, maybe in the 50s. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, Carlos Rodriguez takes a strike, going 1.
I'm pretty comfortable. Might be a little cool out there up for the cool cats on the catwalk.
The radio ledge. Inside low, 1 ball, 1 strike. A little cool, a little dark out there. Plate umpire Brian Gibbons pointing out to center field. I don't know why.
Mike Kelley doesn't know either.
Tell you what it might have been. First the pitch. Foul back. And the count goes to 1-2. You probably saw earlier tonight some of the kids that gather outside the ballpark here waiting for home runs to be hit. Every once in a while, one of those kids will scale the wall and be peeking over the fence. And there might have been one of those kids out there, right where the hitter's backdrop is. In the air to shallow right field. Jarvis Brown there for the catch. Rodriguez retired. He was playing very shallow to begin with. 1 down.
Again, that's a luxury you can have at this ballpark. Jarvis looking for his glasses. He's yelling in at Olmeda like, I needed some glasses to help me with the lights.
Now the right fielder, Paul Tutsis, a home run with a man aboard back in the second. A strikeout and a walk his other 2 trips. Brad Klontz is warming up in the Richmond bullpen.
Yeah, Tutsis drove one out of here, didn't he?
He did.
What a drive. What a wonderful, wonderful drive.
2-0 the count. Inside corner of the knees, count goes to 2-1.
4 homers, 48 RBIs last year in AA, AAA combined for Tutsis. Stole 1 base, but it was their minor league player of the year. Hit about 300 combined between the 2 stops, New Britain and Pawtucket.
Now the 3-1 pitch. Good fastball, 3-2. Issued by Borbon. It'll bring up Tony Rodriguez. An RBI single. His last time up, he's 1 for 3 on the night. None of these Rodriguezes in the Pawtucket lineup related to each other. The starting pitcher tonight, Frank, born in Brooklyn. Carlos is from Mexico. Steve from Las Vegas. And Tony, the current hitter, from Puerto Rico.
And Borbon walked a left-handed batter. That's not a good sign on a close ball game.
Up high, ball 1.
It's got Klontz warming up, but the batter behind Rodriguez is Scott Hatteberg, and he too is left-handed, so that may be why he's letting Borbon work to Rodriguez here. Tony Rodriguez.
1 man out in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the 1-0. Outside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now, Steve Rodriguez they call SR. Carlos Rodriguez they call CR. Tony Rodriguez they call Tony.
Here's the 1-1. Got the fastball by him, 1-2. You saw Grady Little a moment ago. His team back in first place in their division by a half game over Charlotte. Grady won titles with Hagerstown in the Orioles organization as a manager back in '81. With Pulaski in the Braves organization in '86, with Durham in '89, with Greenville in '92, and now trying to finish first with Richmond in '94. He's won at every level.
And they have a chance to increase their lead to a game and a half if they can hang on tonight, because Charlotte is losing 4-1 in the 7th to Ottawa.
Still a ball and 2 strikes on Tony Rodriguez.
Yeah, there's another thing we need to talk about, Pete, about the changes in the minor leagues. It used to be there was a manager and sometimes a player coach at the AAA level. The manager had so many different hats to wear and so many responsibilities. One of the great improvements in the minor leagues, in my opinion, is just the additional coaches. When you got a Bill Fisher working with your AAA pitchers, that's pretty good stuff. Bruce Kim working here too, helping the catchers, and Tack Wilson working with the runners, base runners, and the outfielders.
And then you've got all those roving instructors that roam around from team to team, working on various phases of the game. 3-2 pitch, struck him out. High fastball. That Rodriguez chased. He's out of there on strikes. And there are 2 men out. First strikeout for Borbon.
You would have those roving instructors years ago, but you may not see one as you watch the strikeout again. You may not see one for 6 weeks as they're making all their different stops, and some things can go wrong in the meantime that maybe a manager couldn't help a pitcher get out of a problem, or a former pitcher couldn't help a hitter get out of a slump.
See, it only makes sense when you've got young players. They're the ones that probably need that kind of help more than some major league players would. In the major leagues, of course, always with a 4- and 5- and 6-man coaching staffs.
That's one area that's really terrific these days.
Hatteberg tonight 0 for 3.
Good swing.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bobby Cox, in fact, was reminiscing earlier in the year about his first managing job in Fort Lauderdale. It was during spring training when we were in Fort Lauderdale. He not only had the Fort Lauderdale Yankees to manage that year, but also in extended spring training, they didn't leave a staff down there to work with the kids that were left behind in spring training. They left him with the Class A manager to work those kids out in the morning, and then he had his own game at night. And he had no coaches. It was just Bobby. He said he pitched batting practice 2 hours in the morning and another hour at night, every day. Count goes to 2-1 on Scott Hatteberg. Two and two the count. They make a lot about when they talk about Bobby Cox, they make a lot about that first year as a manager, how he lived in the clubhouse. He said, I had no choice. I had to be at the ballpark 10 o'clock every morning to work those kids out. And then my guys would show up at 3, and when the game wouldn't end till 11, he said, I couldn't go anywhere. Here's the 2-2. Did he go around? I think so. Yes, he did. Strike 3. And Borbon records the final out of the inning with his second strikeout of the inning. We go to the 9th inning. Still 8-6 Richmond.
We go to the top of the 9th inning here at McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And a reminder that coming up after our ball game, The Stone Killer featuring Charles Bronson. That'll be the movie coming up next here on TBS. And in the 9th for Richmond, cleanup hitter Louis Lopez will lead it off.
Lopez hasn't had many of these kind of nights this year. He leads the International League in hits, but tonight he's 0 for 4. And he takes a strike in the outside corner, 0-1. As has been the case in all of these stops we've made in AAA, we'd like to thank Mike Tamburo and his staff here at Pawtucket. Not an easy situation. It's a very unusual situation for any AAA general manager to have to accommodate all the media that we've had at some of these games, with Major League radio and television teams coming in. But they've done the best they can with the limited facilities they have in some of these ballparks. We appreciate it. The 0-2. Into center field, but right at McNeely. 1 down.
Yeah, the PR director here, Bill Wanless, among those that have been very instrumental in helping us. And I tell you something else they've done, Pete, that's really surprised me has, at all 3 stops, has been the depth of the information that we've received in preparation for a broadcast.
Well, I can tell you that's changed. If you were the broadcaster of a minor league baseball team in the 70s, you were also the statistician, the PR man, and the only source of information. Here's Jose Oliva. Outside and low, ball 1. But now all of these AAA teams have public relations departments. They put out notes just like the major league teams do every day. They have their media guides. Fouled off at the plate, 1-1.
My last stop along the way was in Edmonton, and the guy that was doing the radio for the Trappers still there, Al Coates. He's not only Al's not only the play-by-play guy on the radio, he's also the PA announcer and the official scorer.
You know, Al's got a hockey background. I knew Al when he was the assistant general manager of the Virginia Red Wings in the American Hockey League.
Oh, that was what, 45 years ago?
Not quite. Close, 20. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jose Oliva. Sergio Valdez has done a good job. He did walk in that run when he first came in the 6th inning, but he has not allowed a hit. 2-2 the count on Oliva. That's all for Oliva. Strikeout number 3 for Sergio Valdez. 2 down. And that'll bring up Tyler Houston. Houston, a 2-run homer back in the 6th inning.
Sorry, Pete, another forkball strikeout for Valdez.
No strikes. That 2-run homer hit by Tyler Houston back in the 6th broke a 3-3 tie. Richmond went on to score 5 in the inning. Count goes to 2-0. Off his foot. 2-1.
You know, one of the difficult things for a guy like Tyler Houston, we've been talking about, his numbers have not measured up perhaps to what the Braves were hoping for, but with the publicity he got out of high school, you know, USA Today featuring him, and I don't know if he was the player of the year in the country that year, but he was mentioned as one of the best players, high school players in the country. Certainly the Braves thought so.
Lines this one to right field. Tootsis there for the basket catch.
But you get so much notoriety, you just expect things to fall into place for you, and sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. He's trying to overcome all that.
We are going to the bottom half of the 9th inning, and Brad Klontz will be trying to save it for Richmond. We are going to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Richmond leading Pawtucket 8-6. And a guy who has really climbed the ladder in the Braves minor league organization this year, Brad Klontz, coming on to try to save it for Brad Woodall. Klontz, beginning the year at Greenville, pitched in 39 games, had a 1-2 record with 27 saves and 29 opportunities, and an ERA of 1.20, and called up to Richmond. He has just picked right up where he left off. He has 7 saves, only 1 blown save. He only has 3 blown saves all year.
You like seeing us come to town, too. This is his 3rd save opportunity of all the games we broadcast, all 3 of them.
And a pinch hitter, Andy Tomberlin, will bat for Jeff McNeely to lead off here in the 9th inning. Andy Tomberlin, formerly in the Braves organization. Also played briefly in the Pirates organization. Got with the big league club in Pittsburgh for a short time last year. Taking ball 1.
And on a good year, too.
Yes, he is. Always been a good hitter. Two 2-0, the count on Tomberlin. Tomberlin played 3 years with Richmond. In the air, deep center field. Mike Kelley goes back, looks up. It's off the top of the wall. Tomberlin heads for second, and he'll be in with a stand-up double to lead off the bottom half of the 9th inning.
He got behind 2-0 and had to throw a strike. And watch Tomlin. He's got that outside part of the plate covered. He knows he's a sinker-slider pitcher and almost hit it out of the ballpark.
That is Tomberlin's 10th double of the year. Hit number 10 of the night for Pawtucket. And it brings up Steve Rodriguez. Judd Johnson, the lefty, in the bullpen now for Richmond. Running down the third base side. Barehanded pickup, throwing to first. Oliva. Good play by Jose Oliva.
Showed you something there defensively. Outstanding effort. And he had to barehand this, otherwise Rodriguez beats it out. And he put something on the throw, too. Got it there with plenty to spare to get Rodriguez.
That was not a sacrifice attempt. Not down by 2 in the bottom of the 9th. The batter will be Jose Munoz. A runner at third, 1 man out. Munoz tonight 2 for 4, a single, a double. He has scored 1, driven in 1. Klontz out of Virginia Tech.
And the Richmond Braves do not care about that runner at third base. The infield will play back. They want outs. And don't forget that Eric Wedge, who has been a red-hot hitter, waits on deck.
Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the things about Klontz, people say, well, he doesn't throw over 90 miles an hour, but he doesn't have to with the movement he's got on his pitches.
In the air, deep center field, but Kelley has a play on this one. He's got it. Tagging at third is McNeely. He will score to make it 8-7. But now there are 2 outs. Give Munoz his second RBI of the night, giving him 40 on the year.
One thing, though, Pete, about a sinker ball pitcher and a guy who throws from the angle that Clance throws, if he doesn't keep the ball down, especially below the waist, he gets hurt. Watch how this ball stays up. It gets up on a plane and levels off. That type of sinker can go a long way. Fortunately, that one stayed in the ballpark. And now if he can get Wedge, he'll still record the save.
Wedge tonight, 2 for 4, including his 17th homer of the year. Brad Clance was a 10th round draft pick by the Braves in June of '92. And he's been used exclusively as a relief pitcher. He's never started a game in his professional career. The pitch to Wedge. Missed inside, ball 1. 8-7, Richmond leading at bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. The 1-0 in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Didn't mean to. Back toward the seats and out of play. 1-2.
Pete, you mentioned the hot August that Wedge is having with, what was it, 9 home runs now in the month of August. He's been doing it all season long as right-handers, about 1 home run every 10 at-bats. Close to it.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Just missed outside. 2-2.
Wedge wasn't even sure about that. Perez does such a great job of framing those pitches, too, trying to hold it there for the umpire to get a good look.
Here's the 2-2. Strike 3 call in the outside corner, and Brad Clance has done the job again for the Richmond Braves. He picks up his 8th save with Richmond after 27 saves at Greenville. 35 saves on the year for Brad Clance as Richmond holds on to win it by a final score of 8-7.
And our Holiday Inn player of the game this evening is Tyler Houston, whose 2-run homer in the 6th inning helped the Braves get started as they put 5 on the board in the 6th inning to put the game away as they held on to win it 8-7. Here's the home run. He hit the straightaway center field off of Frank Rodriguez. It came in the 6th inning after Jose Oliva got the inning started with a base hit. But congratulations to Tyler Houston, our Holiday Inn player of the game, and back to wrap things up right after these messages. The Richmond Braves, a perfect 3-0 on our TBS broadcast. They win again tonight 8-7. 8 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and 6 men left on base for Richmond. For the Paw Sox, 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, and 6 men left on base. Winning pitcher Brad Woodall as he ties for the league lead with his 15th win against 5 losses. Frank Rodriguez takes the loss. He is 8-12. Brad Clance earned his 8th save of the year for the AAA ball club. Gives him 35 total on the season, combined AA and AAA. Time of the game, 2 hours, 53 minutes. 7,432 in excess of capacity here at McCoy Stadium to take it all in.
Coming up next on TBS, Charles Bronson stars in The Stone Killer. We hope we'll have some more baseball for you this year. We hope it'll be Major League Baseball. We'll see. Check your local listings. We'll be back with you sometime. Final score once again tonight, Richmond beating Pawtucket by a score of 8-7. For Joe Simpson, Skip Caray, Don Sutton, our entire TBS crew have worked very hard, by the way, to get all these AAA ballparks wired for these telecasts. We thank them, and we thank you for joining us. Good night, everyone.
From the world's greatest movie library, a brutal gangland war, and one man out to stop it. Charles Bronson.
You could die easy.
The Stone Killer, coming up next on TBS. Parental discretion advised.